Getting our first look at the 12-year-old boy who cops say opened fire at deputies along with a 14-year-old girl. Today he was in court, and considering his age, it's hard to fathom the charges he's facing. Many news outlets have decided to show his face, even though he's a minor, because of the seriousness of the incident and the charges. Les Trent reports.
He looks like he could be in the principal's office for some silly prank at school. But this 12-year-old is in huge trouble with the law.
You're also charged with attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer.
Travis O'Brien and a 14-year-old girl are accused of opening fire on cops during a 30-minute shootout.
Shots fired. Everybody get hard cover.
They were coming out to kill cops.
The 12-year-old did not speak during today's hearing, at which the judge referred to him as Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
Cops say the boy and the girl ran away from a home for trouble. They broke into a house and found 2 shotguns, an AK-47, and a handgun. When cops arrived, the girl reportedly said to the boy, "I'm gonna roll this down like GTA," referring to the violent video game Grand Theft Auto.
Shooting out the rear window toward my direction.
Deputies ducked for cover behind trees.
They just busted out the window in the back. Stand by. Female has a shotgun in her hand. Stand by. Put the gun down now! She's got the AK and the shotgun. She's wrapping around the top of her neck.
Then came the stunning realization that they were being fired upon by children.
Hey guys, just hold behind hard cover. Let's not shoot kids, man. Let's just hold on. Take our time.
10-4, they're shooting at me. She's re-racking around inside the shotgun.
All right, let's not engage them anymore. Let's not challenge them. Just hold behind hard cover. We're just going to hang out here.
You can hear one officer praying it doesn't end badly.
Don't make me do this. Don't do this.
You can hear the restraint of the deputies pleading not to have to use their guns.
Cops say the girl, seen in this photo given to the news media by her father, was shot and wounded when she refused orders to drop the shotgun and opened fire from behind a parked car.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10 bullet holes.
30 seconds later, young Travis O'Brien came out of the house with his hands raised.
They shot through the bedroom window. They shot from the garage door. I mean, this is like Bonnie and Clyde.
Now these juvenile Bonnie and Clyde desperados have to face the music.
You're also charged with attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer.
All right. Shalom Akim. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakah, Kwadash. Give double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and the house of David is rising. Right, man. This is from the Inside Edition news. First-degree murder of a law enforcement, or the young 12-year-old boy. A 12-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl have shootout with cops. So this 12-year-old has been charged with attempted first-degree murder of law enforcement. Jeremiah, the first one to get this video rolling. The first precept is 49 and 10 says, "But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his sacred places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed shall be spoiled, his brethren, his neighbor, and he is not." Right. He was not able to hide himself. His seed shall be spoiled, and his brethren. Yeah, the 12-year-old, the 14-year-old having a shootout with cops, and the 14-year-old girl was shot about 6 times, man. And they showed it in the video, which I didn't want to show you. It is a bit too graphic. I'll let you hear the audio of it. And both of them, the 14-year-old girl said, let's roll this out like GTO, right? A violent video game called Grand Theft Auto, right? Something to that effect. One of those violent video games. And she must have been some kind of trance, maybe, or demons on them. Well, really, we know that they're in their right spirit, and we've got precepts to bring it out. Right, so it says there, But I have made Esau bare of Jeremiah 30:49 and 10. I have uncovered the sacred places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbor, and he is not. So that sort of reminds me of another precept in Isaiah 14, talking about his seed shall be spoiled, right, and his brethren and his neighbor, right, because whatsoever man soweth, that he should also reap. And I done a video called if you live by the gun, you die by the gun. Yeah, that's it. You check out that video on this channel. Yeah, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And there's another one I did, the wicked are estranged from the womb. That's in Psalms. You can just get that precept, Psalms 58 and 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb, they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So what does that mean, the wicked are estranged from the womb? From the very womb, they start their lying, they're killing, they're murdering, and there's a lot of things that you don't hear about on these what you might call these channels, you know, the online channels, not so much on the mainstream news channels like CNN, ABC. You got other channels like Los Angeles 14. You know, there's a lot of other channels that you might not hear about, or you will hear about what these people are doing, you know, the E's in their spirit, because the scriptures describe them as fugitives. There's another case where a young teenage girl killed her own husband and tried to get rid of the evidence, burying the evidence, just because she wanted to continue with her relationship with one of the Jakes. So these things is not commonplace. It's just that you don't hear so much about them because they want to put the so-called black people as the face of crime and the face of gun violence. And we know they do, you know, Jake, so-called black people do a lot of folly because they're not in their spirit. But it's also because they're seduced by the ease. And a lot of things they do, they make sure they put it out there for people to really stereotype and malign the so-called black people. But there's a lot of things, because we know ease are the true criminals in the earth, the true fugitives, which they always want to try and hide a lot of the things that they do, and as we know, sweep it under the carpet. That's why you have this case here, which they couldn't hide this one. You know, they said that they wanted to keep this hidden, but they couldn't because it was such a serious crime. You know, this so-called 12-year-old, they couldn't hide it because it was such a serious crime. Attempted murder of first degree of a law enforcement. So let's hit some precepts. You know, because these are the results of that Kylie, you know, Kylie Rittenhouse. You heard about him, who was acquitted for those cases in the protest. The protest, I think the protest was the Dante murder of Dante by that woman there, Monica or Nicola Porter, I think her name is. She got sentenced to first degree murder for that killing. She was a police officer that supposed to have brought out a taser, and she said she didn't realize it was a taser, but it was a gun, and she ended up shooting that Dante White guy, young guy, killing him in his car. So that was the protest what took place from Kylie Rittenhouse, and he ended up killing a couple of his own people. So that's how there's a lot of things that's taking place that we're not hearing so much about, of what he's been doing, you know, their own in-house fighting. And that leads me to this precept in Isaiah 14 and 21. It says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Right. And that's why the Most High, he says that it has to fall upon your children, man. The things you've done to Jake, the so-called black people, you know, the ultimate crime, putting us in slavery, and the rape, the rob, and the murder, and the lynching, yeah, it was your children, that it's going to fall upon your children, which that's you in the reincarnation. And it's interesting, they said that at the end of the video, they said that it was like Bonnie and Clyde, now they have to face the it's like they want to be Bonnie and Clyde, which I thought to myself, I wonder if they are Bonnie and Clyde in the reincarnation. You know what happened to Bonnie and Clyde? The man and the woman ended up getting shot to death. You know, they ended up in a shootout with the police back in the gang days. And there's movies on that. Bonnie and Clyde ended up getting shot and ridden. The car was shot to bullets, ridden, everything. You know, they wanted to just go out fighting, go out on their shield, so to speak. And that was the attitude of these two, one 14-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy. Imagine. You can't make this up. It's prophecy, man. So the Most High preparing that slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. There's so many precepts we can get into. Let's bring this one out. Like I say, I done that video on you live by the gun, you die by the gun, and there's a precept to that. This is what you Christians, you call him Jesus. This is what he said to Peter. Matthew 26 and 50, straight to the point. 52 says, Then Yahushua said unto him, Put up again thy sword unto his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. And that's exactly what you saw there. Yeah, there was in the imaginary sense of delusion, like they're gonna let's roll this out like GTA, that game, that violent video game, yeah. And so this is what happened, man. They lived by the gun, and then they're getting taken out by the gun. And there's a lot of stories on those games, those so-called virtual reality games. People suffering from mental illnesses. It can actually cause in mental illnesses. It can put demons on you, as a matter of fact. Something that was recently brought out in the mainstream news. They're talking about developing targeted programming to support Twitch streamers, which can end up in a game, in a mental illness called gaming and mental health. So those games can put demons on you, man. So be careful of those games, you know. Especially when you're young and very impressionable. This is the results of that. What this young girl said. Let's go out and ride it out like GTA. So here, there you have it, man. There's one example there. Yeah, those games are almost too real. It's like they'll take over you, man. She thought she was in some kind of game. That virtual reality game. GTA. Man, that's crazy, man. Let's bring out another one. All these scriptures, everything that happened here is just prophecy. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, and it's brought out also in Genesis. Yeah, Genesis chapter 4. We can read it. There's quite a bit there. We can just bring out a couple of precepts on that one there. It says, and Cain, let's start with 8. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel, my brother? Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. See, these are questions. These are all questions that was asked of Cain, who murdered his brother. So he was unrepentant. And these are the answers. He said, What hast thou done? Yeah, that's God speaking to him right there. Yeah, or the voice of an angel, right? Could have been Yahushua the angel. Right, it says, What hast thou done? And the voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. Right, so that was a curse that came upon him because he killed his brother. And not only did he kill his brother, he was very, very bad attitude, an unrepentant attitude he had. So these are the sentences that took place in 12. It says, When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. Right, a fugitive. So a fugitive, what is a fugitive? Is a criminal. A fugitive is a criminal on the run. Right, when someone is wanted and they put out their poster, you hear it on the news. They say this man is wanted. He's a fugitive until caught. he's on the loose. Yeah, so a fugitive and a vagabond, someone who's on the move, moving around, a homeless, similar, very similar to a homeless person, a vagabond. You see them on the streets begging, yeah, with their walking around with their, in some cases they have big bags and they're walking around with all their belongings. A vagabond or a tramp, they call them tramps as well. Yeah, a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth, because this guy don't stay home, does he? We know about the ease. So the precepts bear witness about all the things that he's doing today with their gift that is also brought out there. The gift is brought out in Genesis 25. Talks about Cain. It talks about the Jacob and Esau, the two brothers, which were Cain and Abel back in the reincarnation. Right, the sons of Isaac, Jacob and Esau, which were enemies from the very time they was in the womb, because they was fighting in the womb. Yeah, enemies, rivals, two different nations. So yeah, let's stay on the point here in Nahum chapter 1 and it brings it out also what kind of people they are, right? And this is how Yahweh, yeah, God feels about them. 3 says, the Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and he will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord have his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, and the clouds, and the dust of the feet. So that's the point. When someone is not acquitted from something, they're not released, yeah, that means they have to face the crimes, they have to face the consequences of their actions. They're not acquitted, they're not released, right? The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and he will not at all acquit the wicked. So they're not going to be let off. They're going to have to stand trial and get sentenced. Right now, they're fugitives that we saw in Genesis, but the Most High hasn't acquitted them. Yeah, he's just waiting for the appropriate time, and then he's going to bring them their sentence. That's why you're seeing at the moment now, in this year now, year 2022, the year of turn up, he's bringing these judgments on them, on their seed, which their seed has brought out in Jeremiah. We brought out in Jeremiah. As a matter of fact, let's go back to that, the one we started with, Jeremiah, just to clear up the point, to make it more clear, right? So we started with this one, Jeremiah 49 and 10 says, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his sacred places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled. That's what you're seeing right here, right now. Yeah, this young boy, what you might look at him and say he looks so innocent, but according to Job 7, is it Job 4 and 7? Yeah, there's no such thing as innocence in the Most High's eyes. He gonna be brought to trial. He's gonna have to face the consequences of his actions. Yeah, attempted first degree of murder of a law enforcement. So this is what he's talking about here. He shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled. That's the seed of Uis, the son of Uis, and his brethren. That's his neighbor, and that's his brother. Yeah, and his neighbor. Yeah, that's all of them in a nutshell. That's all them. Yeah. His seed is spoiled, his brethren and his neighbor, and he is not. And eventually he will be knout in the earth. Obadiah 18, out of there. Right. So already, I think the point is already made. Yeah, we come to, we understand now, we get the idea. The fugitives, they're the fugitives in the earth. Genesis chapter 4. They're criminals on the loose. And the Most High in Obadiah 1 says he will not acquit the wicked. So they ain't going to get away. They're going to have to face their consequences of their actions. And we're in the year of turn up, like I say. And we're going to end with this precept in Isaiah 34 and 5. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. That's Greek for Edom. Yeah, or Edomites. Upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment, giving our praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Let's bring out this one. I think I must bring this one out in Ezekel 35 and 5 says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that they of their iniquity had an end, because they fell with the affliction. Wherefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, saith thou hast not hated blood. Right, you hear that? Because you love blood, you don't hate blood. So since you have not hated blood, even blood shall pursue you. Giving all praises to Yah, Ba'ashem Yosha, Ba'ashem Harakah Kodash. So we're going to end the video, and the water to Yah, Ba'ashem Yosha, for giving me the spirit to do this video. We're going to end it right there.
Look at the 12-year-old boy who cops say opened fire at deputies along with a 14-year-old girl. Today he was in court, and considering his age, it's hard to fathom the charges he's facing. Many news outlets have decided to show his face, even though he's a minor, because of the seriousness of the incident and the charges. Les Trent reports.
He looks like he could be in the principal's office for some silly prank at school. But this 12-year-old is in huge trouble with the law.
You're also charged with attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer.
Travis O'Brien and a 14-year-old girl are accused of opening fire on cops during a 30-minute shootout.
Got shots fired. Everybody get hard cover.
They were coming out to kill cops.
The 12-year-old did not speak during today's hearing, at which the judge referred to him as Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
Cops say the boy and the girl ran away from a home for troubled youth. They broke into a house and found 2 shotguns, an AK-47, and a handgun. When cops arrived, the girl reportedly said to the boy, "I'm gonna roll this down like GTA," referring to the violent video game Grand Theft Auto.
Shooting out the rear window toward my direction.
Deputies ducked for cover behind trees.
They just busted out the window in the back. Stand by. Female has a shotgun in her hand. Stand by. Put the guns down now! She's got the AK and the shotgun. She's wrapping around the top of her neck.
Then came the stunning realization that they were being fired upon by children.
Hey guys, just hold behind hard cover. Let's not shoot these kids, man. Let's just hold on.
10-4, they're shooting at me. She's re-racking around inside the shotgun.
All right, let's not engage them anymore. Let's not challenge them. Just hold behind hard cover. We're just going to hang out here.
You can hear one officer praying it doesn't end badly.
Don't make me do this. Don't do this.
You can hear the restraint of the deputies pleading not to have to use their guns.
Cops say the girl, seen in this photo given to the news media by her father, was shot and wounded when she refused orders to drop the shotgun and opened fire from behind a parked car.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10 bullet holes.
30 seconds later, young Travis O'Brien came out of the house with his hands raised.
They shot through the bedroom window. They shot from the garage door. This is like Bonnie and Clyde.
Now these juvenile Bonnie and Clyde desperados have to face the music.
You're also charged with attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer.